Hey guys, if you're watching this video, it's probably because of a Craigslist ad that you found, or maybe you just searched on YouTube for some trucks like these. So this truck is for sale here in the Nashville, Tennessee area. I just wanted to give you some insight on what's up, some things about it. Please know that I don't want to hide anything, and I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. This is a 1988 truck, and so in some ways, a lot of ways, it's an old truck. And in a lot of ways too, it's a really good truck, and it's done really well for me, and I wouldn't be selling it if I didn't think that it would do well for somebody else. So let me just run you through some things about it, and you can feel free to hit me up with my contact information here in the description or in the Craigslist ad. So it's a 1988 Ford F350. It's the IDI version, not the Power Stroke. It has this old Power Stroke sticker right here that you see, but it's not a Power Stroke. It's the IDI version. It's a crew cab. It was done by after it left the factory, the way I understand it, it was done by a custom vehicle company called Centurion Vehicles, and they added a couple different things to it, mainly just like comfort type things, it seems like. So I'll touch on those when we get there. I am, the best I can tell, I'm at least the third owner of this truck. I bought it about a year ago to use as a company vehicle. I run a production company and I pulled trailers with it. It does great. Before that, I think it was, best case I can think of, it was probably used as a recreation horse trailer type of a vehicle. It seems like it maybe spent some of its life sitting. And it doesn't seem like it's been worked that hard, but it does have, like I said, those custom vehicle options. So somebody spent the money and wanted it done right. You can see here on the hood, hopefully you can see it's pretty hot out here. Some rusting and stuff on the hood, and the same thing up on the top of the cab here. The way I understand it, there's a recall on this paint in the early 90s. This is in 1988, so in the early 90s there was a recall on the paint that it did this and faded off in the sun. So if this were 1992, I would have had that redone, but it's not, so I can't. So let's jump inside here. As you can see, it's a 4-door crew cab. It has some of the extra features on the side. These handles here with some running lights, and it has these running boards, and they have some lights built into them too. Not all those lights work though. But those, I think, were some of the things that were added. Inside here, you see we have some custom seats. Hopefully that's not getting too dark for you there. But we have some custom seats that I assume they put in. I read online that Centurion was the first company that put cup holders in cars. So this says cup holders. Congratulations. Here on the dash, you can see it's the old IDI style dash cluster. We have 2 fuel tanks, one that I think is about 14 gallons and another one that's about 10 or 12 gallons. Pardon me if I'm stopping to think here, I just don't want to leave anything out, or if I circle back to something because I remembered something. The mileage on this, you can see it has an old style odometer that doesn't have the 100,000th place. So that says 27,474. When I got it, it said 19,000 something. And so, who knows? When I bought it, I didn't know if that's 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Who knows? I would guess maybe 200,000, but I don't know for sure. The fuel gauge does not work properly for either tank. On the first tank, it stays all the way full until it gets to E, and then it just bounces around. So that's when you know you got to switch. The rear tank, it shows a quarter of a tank to full. So it starts over here, and then when you get to a quarter tank, that's when you're about empty. That has only bit me in the butt once, thankfully. Hopefully it won't to you. Believe it or not, this 1988 does have air conditioning. It's a pretty hot day today. I was driving around, thankful for that. It does have AC and heat. It has a tape deck and a stereo. When I bought it, it came with these 2 old cans of tobacco, and you will receive those as the buyer, those cans as well. Congratulations. Obviously it has wipers, lights, the high beam foot switch is here on the floor, which is kind of cool. I didn't expect that. Additionally, it has these little side windows here, corner windows. And it does also have powered windows. I'll show you once we get that going. The plate for this fell off. You can see this one over here. That's what it looked like. It was here when I bought it, but I knocked it off by accident one time. So it has power windows and power locks. That's about all for the inside. Oh, except you see this this wood panel up here. Hopefully you can see that. I think that's one of the things that was added. Some of these cabin lights, and it has a CB up here with a few additional switches. Only one of which does anything for me. It turns on the cabin lights when the engine's running. This CB does work. I put this in because, I mean, you got to have a CB. There was one in here when I bought it, but it didn't work, so I made it work. So that does work. That's kind of fun to listen to the truckers cussing up a storm out on the highway. So that all does work. And I think here, the power lock on this rear door here in the back does not work. So you have to manually reach back here and pull this and push this up. It's kind of annoying, but you know, whatever. Back seats match the front seats. Again, these are aftermarket seats, I think. They do sit 3 across, and they have this little center thing that pulls down. Cup holders down here. There's a floor mat that's not in here right now that I'm going to put in. So yeah, that's the back seat. Got an old-fashioned ashtray in there too, if that's your thing. After I bought this truck, the truck didn't come with this bed topper on it, but using it for what I was using it for, I didn't need the bed and I wanted the extra storage space, so I bought this and put it on. So it's a pretty big, pretty tall bed topper. It has 4 of these little compartments total. There's one that has some shelves. So I took most everything that I had in there out of it. And then on the back here it has, you can see it has these double doors that have worked well for me. I used to would store gear back here. As you can see, that's a decently big space back here. There's that floor mat I was talking about, and when I put this on, I had to take the tailgate off, and so there's the factory tailgate. You can see here where it says Centurion from that company that customized it. Here's one of the hubcaps for the dually. I don't really know why that's back here. It must have fallen off at some point. If you care, this is a Redding Bodyworks bed, known to make real good stuff. I live in Nashville now, but I'm from Redding, Pennsylvania. This bed cover is from there as well. And it does have a light here up on the top. I never went to the trouble of hooking that up, and you can see this is not meant specifically for this truck, and so there are some gaps here in the corners that I never went to the trouble of filling in either. It does lock. I do have and will provide the key for the back, and it's the same key here on the sides, so everything is very secure in here. Here's some oil and some brake fluid from an oil change. I'll send this along as a spare oil stuff if anybody cares or wants that. This one has a couple shelves in it. Again, if you care about that. I jacked up. I was gonna put this mirror back on when I bought it, but there was a mounting plate in here that, if I remember, I'll show you back in the cab. I really jacked up gluing that onto the windshield, so never got that to work. The dually tires here are looking good. They were pretty much new when I bought them, but had a little bit of cracking on them, as you can see right here, which is one of the reasons that I think this truck has sat for some time. They were brand new, almost brand new tires, but looked like they'd been out in the sun. So I chose to run them, and they haven't given me any problems or anything since. The front tires do not match as far as I know, but again, they have a decent amount of tread on them, and have done fine for me. I had one replaced. I lost the whole tread on the highway one time, and so the driver's side one is not the one that came with it and does not match this side tire. So before I ramble on for too long here, let's take a look at the engine and then start it up for a minute. So like I said, if you're familiar with these trucks, you'll know what I mean, that this is a Power Stroke. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not a Power Stroke diesel. It is it's an IDI diesel, one of the old school ones. So it's designed a little bit differently, runs a little bit differently, has fairly different parts than the Power Stroke motor. It is not a turbo diesel. It's the old school non-turbo. So as you can see in here, there are some you know, some dirt and some corrosion and general, you know, not really some rust, not cleanness. But right now, I think I'm running without any leaks or drips or anything like that. In the past, I have battled them on some of these injectors and injector seals here. I redid all the injection lines, all the vacuum lines for the injectors because I was fighting some drips around those O-rings and stuff in there. But I think I got that all squared away. I changed the oil pretty recently here. So it's maybe coming up on an oil change in 2 or 3 months if you're driving it a lot, but I haven't driven it too much the past couple of months. Batteries, I put new batteries in it when I bought it, so they should be good to go. You can see that the battery cables themselves are a little bit banged up, and these have obviously been jumped a fair amount. There was a time when I had a hard time getting this truck started. I just recently replaced the starter, and ever since then it's been starting like a dream. So other things that I've done on the truck, I just put a new fuel filter on it. It was showing that fuel filter light, just saying that there was a restriction in there, so that's a new fuel filter. Like I said, the starter, which you can't see, is way down in there, is new. So hopefully in a second you'll see here, she normally starts right up and does well for me. The only other issue that I can think of right now is that when I had, like I said, I had that tire blow off and had a new tire put on there. When they switched the tire, they put the e-brake on, and if you know about these trucks, you know that a lot of times if the e-brake hasn't been used and it's suddenly used, it'll stick, and it did. And so I had to wrestle for a long time with I think it was this side, the e-brake in the dually there locked up, and I had to wrestle with it for a long time to try to get off. And sometimes it still does stick, like right at the beginning when it's cold, and ever since then, once the engine, it seems like once the vehicle gets warm, there's a brake light that you'll see in a second if it's still on, that will come on. Not exactly sure what that means. I need to go look that up, but like I said, that hasn't caused any problems for me, except sometimes when it's really cold out, you can feel it hang for a little bit until the truck gets moving and gets warmed up. But it doesn't like stop the truck in its tracks or anything. All right, gotta wrap this up here quick. So let's crank up the engine here, see what we got. See our wait to start light comes on and goes off because she's warm. And here we go. As you can see, she starts right up. It's warm right now, but before today I hadn't driven it in a couple weeks, and she started right up. All the lights on here work, headlights and turn signals and all that. You can hear that and see that AC works, fan blows and whatnot. The fun radio down here, that does work. The CB radio, I don't know if anybody's talking right now.
The year still is 11.3 inches.
Get some weather or something going on. So all that works. You can see that these dome lights here work. So like I said, that's about that. I don't, oh, you know what, the horn doesn't work. It's never worked since I owned it. This does have cruise control, which is another feature from the factory, but is another cool feature. Power windows, like I said. Just kidding, that's power locks. Power windows. It's kind of weird on these trucks. Speaking of that, the passenger side power window does not work. Like I said, I really don't want to leave anything out here, but that does not work. There was something else I was going to say, but I'm not sure. Like I said, don't want anybody to, here's that brake light I was talking about. Don't want anybody to buy this and be disappointed. I bought it and worked on it and had a great time with it. I hope somebody else can do the same thing. So please feel free to hit me up if you have any questions. Don't hesitate to shoot me a text, give me a call, or shoot me an email. And if you're interested in it, I'd love for you to come take a look at it. We can take it for a drive and see what's up. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. See ya.